We've got some freaks and geeks about to come out. Let's welcome them to the virtual stage. You know her from The Parent Trap, Orange County, Go. She is the voice of Ruth in Family Guy. She plays cheerleader and longtime crush of Sam. Cindy Sanders. Let's hear it for Natasha Melnick. Melnick, my gosh, what's your name?
It doesn't
Natasha
matter.
Melnick. Sorry about that.
I'm actually Natasha Pucker, so it really doesn't matter.
Nice. Well, Natasha, thank you so much for being here. Tell everybody what's been so cool about these conventions is we're finding folks watching from around the world. Even folks in Australia are like staying up till 3 a.m. to watch these panels. It's amazing. We have someone watching from Guatemala right now in the thread. In addition to around the country, obviously around the U.S. Where are you zooming in from right now?
Hawaii.
Oh, very nice. So what time is it? What time is it there for you?
10:05 a.m.
All right, not too bad. Not too bad. Yeah, we've forced actors to wake up at like 3 a.m. in Australia to do these, so not too bad. 10 a.m. It's a nice, cool morning. Well, thank you for being here. Let's get all the rest of your cast members out. You know this next gentleman from countless films, television shows, voiceover, the stage, most notably from Raising Arizona, Drop Dead Gorgeous, LA Story, The Tracy Ullman Show, The King of Queens, and my favorite, the voice of Roy in Dinosaurs, everybody. Let's bring out dentist and father of one of our other characters, Vic Schweiber. Let's hear it for Sam McMurray. Woo!
I made it.
You did it, Sam. You did it.
Yeah, I did.
We worked with Sam beforehand on the whole stop video, start video. It's not. It doesn't matter whether you're computer proficient or not. It's not the easiest thing to do, but you did it effortlessly right there. It was seamless.
I've actually been doing a number of Zoom things, including a playwrights conference, which was truly bizarre, but I think it was helpful, at least for the playwrights.
That is amazing.
I usually go to in June and July up in Idaho, of all things. And I full marks for attempting to do it, even though nobody was there, in fact. So.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best way to connect these days. And so it's just anybody who's trying to do anything, I feel like, especially in the like theater world, kudos and shout out to them for just getting together. Have you been doing readings and such on? I know that's been a thing. A lot of theater comes to attention. Yeah. Yeah,
I have. And I have to confess that the Zoom experience, for the most part, because I've been on both sides of it, is more enjoyable for the watcher rather than the participant. At least that's been my experience so far. But I'm going to do probably a reading of a Robbie Bates play called Other Desert Cities. And, just for shit and giggles, I think. But yeah, I've done a number of these things. And some of them are, more or less successful than others. But keeps me off the streets. And
keeps me off the streets. Well, I know I speak on behalf of the fans. Exactly what you said, Sam. It can often feel awkward as a performer, right, on our end, but from the fans' perspective, it's like they're watching us live, and so we appreciate you doing this for sure. Let's bring out his son, the other Schweiber, that's waiting in the back room. You know him from over 60 films and television shows. Not Another Teen Movie, Wet Hot American Summer, 10 years later, Inglourious Basterds. Most recently, he has turned and become a host himself, not only with the Wizard World Circuit, but on Kevin Pollak's chat show and the movie trivia Schmoedown. Let's give it up for comic genius and self-proclaimed ladies' man, Neal Schweiber, Samm Levine. Come on, Sam.
That was great.
Did I not
That's an old
disappoint?
bio, though. No, that was great, but that's an old bio. I've been in over 61 movies and TV shows now.
I'm so sorry. Let me fix that for our next.
Please look into that.
Yeah. Well, technically I said over 60, so 61.
So it could be any number. I guess you're right. That's still technically accurate.
Once you get to 100, I'll switch it for you. I'll say hundreds of television
Okay, thank
shows.
you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Sam, that is a lovely backdrop. Tell us a little bit about it.
Oh, I broke into Grant High School here in Los Angeles where we used to shoot the show because I figured, if we're going to do it, I want to do it right for the fans. So this is where we took the iconic picture of all of us, the freaks and the geeks on the cover of the DVD
with the logo, with the logo there.
The Freaks and Geeks logo. It's actually just out of frame. I wish I could pan up.
I know I could maybe.
No,
just not working.
It's just like there's something wrong with the tripod.
Sam, I forgot to ask. Let's check in with both Sams. So we've got Hawaii. Sam McMurray, where are you currently located in the?
I'm in LA.
LA?
Yeah, I was actually on my way to New York on March 9th, and I thought, maybe not. So I've been here ever since. Yeah.
Smart
That's
moves.
where I live.
Sam, do you live in New York?
Me?
Normally?
No, I haven't. I'm from New York, and I have an apartment there, which has sort of been, well, the bane of my existence to some degree. It's a big place I share with a couple of degenerate musicians who are all, even older than I am. But when I get a job offer in New York, it becomes handy because they say, will you work as a New York hire, a local hire, that is, which means they won't fly me and they won't put me up or per diem. They will take me to the set because they want me there on time. But at least I have the place in New York, which, as I said, it's my hometown after all. So that's handy. But I mean, it's been empty now, this apartment. It's like 7 rooms for, oh God, since February, I think.
Sam, I would love to get out of my 2-bedroom, 2-room apartment in New York. If you want me to house sit, we can talk afterwards. But yeah.
Well, I have to talk to my friend, the composer and, the drummer, Murata, but it's his apartment.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But that's awesome. That's awesome. Samm Levine, how about you? Where are you calling
I am also here in Los Angeles, not terribly far from my fictional father, Mr. McMurray. And hey, to keep things super easy, you guys can either call me Levine or Hey You. So I'll assume anything directed at Sam is for Sam McMurray, and then Hey You or Levine is for me.
It's crazy because I thought it was David Krumholtz for a minute, but I guess he.
Oh, wait a minminute. Wait a minute. We got to get him in here.
Wow, the burn.
We should actually.
We should. He would be awesome. He would be awesome. Let's not leave. We do have, speaking of people waiting in the background, though, we do have a very patient person that is still just hanging behind their stop video. Let's get her out here. We just spoke to her a couple days ago, Wizard World fans. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She was Amanda in Buffy. She's been a guest star in countless television shows. She's from the film Spring Breakdown. She is Lindsay's geeky and highly religious former best friend. Lindsay. Millie Kentner, please give it up for Sarah Hagan.
Wow, that was took me a long time to get out here, guys.
Yeah,
I was waiting a while.
We really should have left. We should have left you, Sam Levine, just out, and then got you all out here, and then really kick things off. You know what I mean? I'm so sorry, Sarah.
It's all good. It's all good. I enjoy listening to you guys.
Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, you're a mom now, so any alone time you have, I'm sure
I know.
Is precious to you.
Can we Zoom? Let's get some emoji love out there. Congratulations, Sarah.
Thank you.
Yeah. How old is your child now?
She'll be 2 September 8th. So.
Holy crap! Time goes by.
It goes by really fast. It's crazy, and she's crazy. She's a lot. She has no fear.
It just gets better and better.
Yeah. And she hasn't even hit 2 yet, so it's gonna be.
You sound like an advertisement for birth control.
Oh, good. Hopefully, I'm a good role model.
Babies, Sarah, we'll say that babies and pets do steal the show. So if she does wake up and you need to go, what is her first name?
Francis.
Oh, lovely name. Yeah, if Francis needs to make an appearance, it's totally fine. Sam Levine will be a little jealous, you know what I mean? But if it steals some focus, but it's okay. Let's get to the questions. We have fans. Again, this is so cool. Normally when we're at physical conventions, it's pretty limited to the city that we're in and the amount of people that are willing to travel there. We have folks watching from around the world right now. Again, not only across the U.S. Shout out to California, New York, Dallas, Indiana, Colorado, someone from Hawaii actually too. But we have folks watching in Guatemala and Belgium right now, Denmark. My gosh, fans tuning in from Europe and South America. So thanks again, Delaware. Thanks so much for doing this. The one fan question that always comes through, and it's already coming through right now, is just if you picked up any. What have you been doing? What have you been doing to pass the time? I know we've all been stuck in this sort of shared experience together. So have there been any unusual hobbies, or just maybe not unusual hobbies, but things that you've started or unique things that you've done that really have like stood out to you as like, man, I would have never done this or thought about this before, but because I've just been, in this situation for the last 4 or 5 months, I've picked up this new thing. Natasha, why don't you kick us off since you were the first one out here?
So I hate social media for me. For me, like I post on like my personal Instagram like once every 7 or 8 months, maybe. I don't do Twitter. I don't do Facebook. I don't do anything like that. But I was incredibly bored. And I have not worked since March 14th. So I've started an Instagram. I post like 6 times a day. And it's called Lucky Live Hawaii. And it's all about how lucky we are to live in Hawaii. And it's really fun. I mean, it gets me like out and like taking pictures in the world. I have to admit,
I'm going to go follow you right now.
Yeah.
Do it. It's lucky.live.hawaii.
Lucky.live.hawaii.
For the first like 2 months, I think I drank enough for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Wait, just the first 2 months, so you haven't continued on?
No, because I found my hobby. I found my calling. We weren't allowed to go outside. Hawaii took this like way serious. We were not allowed to go anywhere. And
Good job, Hawaii. Good job, Hawaii.
Yeah, good job, Hawaii.
Really fast. And so, I mean, we couldn't go to the beach. We couldn't go anywhere except the grocery store or the hospital. So it was a lot of food, a lot of eating.
Sure.
So it was really nice as soon as like we were able to get out. I was like, well, fuck yeah, I'm going to start taking pictures and post them on Instagram. And it's cute because there's like a community.
Yeah.
There's no pictures of me, which is great. So it's really fun.
Well, it's been fun to talk. Like whereas
I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries. Are we getting Francis? Francis might be coming back. Natasha, it's interesting, yeah, because like you say, before all this, social media was, a thing, a place of whatever people wanted it to make to be, but it could be very evil, very sad. But now it's like people are using it to connect, even more so. And so you found that connection of like, people checking in and sharing experiences and seeing where you are, what you're doing.
And I love looking at other people's pictures, and it's just super fun. It's
awesome.
Something I literally never did before, and I'm super stoked on doing it now.
Cool. Well, congratulations. I'm glad you're happy doing that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And
Sarah,
now we get to go to the beach, so that's good.
yeah. It is nice that you have the beach. Yeah. I guess when you have
see
like
how long that lasts, though.
Yeah, when you have really nice things to take pictures of, it makes it a whole lot easier.
It's so easy.
Sarah, how about you? I know you mentioned you've got this 2-year-old. How has life been? Is it all just about the 2-year-old, or have you been able to take up any other hobbies or interests during this time?
It's mostly the 2-year-old, so you're absolutely right. I get about 2 hours a day sometimes when she's napping. Sometimes she decides that, I just don't want to nap today. And that's a very unfortunate and long and horrible day. But during the 2 hours of nap, I will sometimes sleep. I will sometimes just watch TV. I have collected a ton of like wine corks. So I decided to make a cork board, and I used, it took me 3 days. So 3 of her naps to do it. And this is it.
Wow.
Oh, wow. This is a live reveal, everybody. Who knew?
Yeah.
Man, I didn't know we were doing show and tell.
So,
I
that's what I am doing during my lockdown. Also, I cut my fiance's hair yesterday, and it looks horrible.
Sorry.
Yay, congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations to him for a terrible haircut.
Well, that's very nice. It means he didn't have to go out and, go into a situation that maybe was unsafe. And so you did that for him. I think that's super sweet. And you can count the amount of bottles of wine you've had throughout quarantine. So I think that's awesome.
There you go. Well, this was before quarantine. So I did.
Oh.
I actually have a few more cork boards to make since then.
Awesome. Sam McMurray, we talked a little bit briefly when you came on about your continued work, in stage and theater over this, strange new Zoom format. But, besides that, or, in addition to that, anything else to add that you've sort of picked up or discovered that's been a new thing during this whole time?
A year ago, I went to Montgomery, Alabama, the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, to do a play by a friend of mine, which I think is quite brilliant, called Buzz, directed by Carrie Preston, and remember the cast of 9. And it was terrifying because I grew up in the theater. My parents were both actors, and my elder daughter is an actress as well. I don't think she'd like me calling her elder, but you get it. But it was terrifying. I mean, I'd been 25 years since I'd been on stage without book in hand, doing stage reading. But this woman who's a dear friend who lives in New York and keeps banging away at it, we did actually another play of hers that Carrie Preston was in. And this was right towards the beginning of March, and directed by my friend Julianne Emery, who is a tremendous hyphenate. We did it twice, in fact, with Amy Aquino one time.
Very nice.
So sorry to miss her.
Yeah.
But it's sort of, and then, when the guano hit the fan here, my elder daughter, who was down in Carlsbad at the, what are they called, North Coast Rep there outside of San Diego, she stayed there for a while, but she was doing a Pinter play, got canceled, and then she came up and stayed with me, which was great for 2 months. And now my younger daughter, who's not in the business, she's the one who escaped the family, illness. She drove down with her dog and her boyfriend from San Francisco, and she's staying with me now. So that's great. But to answer your question in a roundabout way,
I thought this was leading. Yeah. Oh, awesome.
So,
awesome.
And I've been doing that, and that was something I used to do 35 years ago. In fact, I did it for a living back in the dog and pony show days, writing industrials. But this has been a very interesting journey, and it puts me through a lot of hoops that I'm not particularly fond of. But if it leads me to something that's self-generating as opposed to being an actor, then it's a good thing, So
that's so awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think, and that's like the positive thing that, again, a lot of people have said is they've been challenging themselves to do things like you said, even Natasha. I mean, even something as simple as like you hated social media, you pivoted to Instagram, you know what I mean? And you're finding a lot of happiness in it. Same thing with you, Sam. You know what I mean? Like to challenge yourself and try new things and kind of, are you writing like plays or books or novels?
Writing off my corkboard? Like, come on.
That was
like, not me, not Sarah.
I was such a rambunctious child that when I got my bedroom when I was like, 8 in New York, my parents actually had the floor made out of cork because I was just bouncing off of everything, which was fairly clever. But no, not at all. In fact, what I did think of, though, was you're probably going to run out of material because if you notice, wine is now coming all screw top, even the better, vintage.
Yeah.
Because it lasts longer that way, actually. So,
smaller percentage. Actually, I think it's like a near 0% of spoilage
for screw top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. I've been doing some of that though. I've been enjoying that. The drinking part. That's always fun.
Oh yeah.
I think we've all. Yeah.
When we get older, though, guys, like, does it hurt so much more in the morning, or is it just me? No, you're okay.
I don't have drinking to access then, if that's the question.
Oh, it is just me then. Okay.
Maybe
No, after like 2 glasses of wine, the next day I'm like, I hate my life so much. No, is it just me?
Mine's waking up at 5 a.m. every morning with the child. So now,
you just got to stay drunk for that.
That's right.
There it is.
Oh, I'm doing it wrong. Okay.
Sam, you were shaking your head. No, Samm Levine. Yeah, I mean that you're clearly a pro, right? And you've just mastered the art of drinking.
Oh, I've been drunk since March 15th. I have not missed a day. It strikes 11 a.m. I start with the white wine. I move to rosé in the afternoon. and then I start mixing it up at night. They say you're not supposed to, but I just pour it all into one bowl.
Guys, Paul, I don't know if anyone watched Paul Feig's like quarantine cocktails.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch those? I watched almost all of them. He would do them at like 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Did you
on
follow?
Instagram.
Did
what?
You make a drink according to his
no. I mean, sometimes I would do it after he would, but like he has like an insane supply of like mixers in,
Oh, really?
I don't even know. Like,
Yeah.
Like
He's stocked up on all the important items.
yeah.
And
And
was
I'm
the
just like, I
outcome
can't
good?
even.
And were the drinks good?
I would.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Anywhere from like classic cocktails to
Yeah.
creative
Lots of different things. To crazy things. Yeah. But he's got to like 100 episodes or something, like 100 days. And then he's like, okay, got to get back to work, guys.
Yeah. Does he do it like in full Paul Feig? Like,
Yes.
like
Oh,
dress?
yes.
Oh,
Yes. It's amazing.
That's so
And
awesome.
he does it with his wife. Lori
His
comes
wife,
in later with the squeaky door, and they
Oh my
dance and they, they give good
Nice.
like advice, or no, lame advice. Sorry, lame advice, not good advice. I know it's a fun watch. That was what Paul Feig was doing during his quarantine.
Oh, nice. Sam Levine, let's turn to you. There's actually a very specific question from Brian Nussbaum, who's watching. He said he is the former movie Schmoedown singles and team champ. Oh no, sorry. This is for the former Schmoedown singles and team champ. That makes sense. Are you just polishing your belt during quarantine? Is what Brian?
That's a wonderfully funny inside joke that literally 2 or 3 people will be able to enjoy. So thank you.
So shout out to Brian. Thanks for watching.
No,
Brian. Yeah.
Shut up.
But tell us what you've been up to.
So I took the opportunity during this downtime to learn about technology and computer stuff that I didn't know about. And I learned about this thing called catfishing. So I have been mounting an aggressive campaign to really mess with everyone I went to grade school with. I'm posing as a Nigerian prince. And so far, I have collected over $30,000 from these people. And I mean, I'm going to give it all back. But it's just, I gotcha. You called me names when we were kids, but now who's got who?
Sam, this is live streaming on 3 platforms around the world to thousands of people. Just so you know, so you might have just outed yourself there. But
FBI, it's a joke. I'm joking. Don't come after me. I kid.
I just wanted to give you a second to retract there.
Right. You're in trouble in Nigeria too. That's all.
Oh no, not again.
Let's talk about the show. Obviously, we already shouted out to Paul Feig. What a genius! What a brilliant creator and writer and everything. Obviously, this was his baby from the start. It ran for it. I like to compare. I like to say this is the Firefly of comedies. You know what I mean? Firefly. Firefly
Sure.
is. Yeah, Sam McMurray. It's Firefly was it's a popular sci-fi series that went 1 season.
Oh yes,
That's Joss Whedon, right?
But Joss Whedon, and still people are like getting together as casts and going to conventions, and it has a giant following. And they had probably even less than you all. I think you had 18 episodes. They probably had like 12 or something like that. But this isn't about them. This is about you. It's the same thing. You had 12 episodes aired. You know what I mean? That then, due to fans, we got the additional 6. I think like the additional 3 aired, and then we got like the final ones like when it sort of re-aired. But fans pushed and pushed and pushed, and it's still being rewatched today for 1 season of a show that is just such a brilliant show about adolescence and real life in high school. This specific question comes from Amber Jeanette Andrus. I love this show. It deserves so much more time on the air. And so the question is not, what do you regret or like what do you think, but just like, what do you think is what has created to that lasting power that people are still rediscovering it and enjoying it and just savoring those 18 episodes? Whoever wants to kick off.
I'll start. I think the thing, and I've talked about this before. I think one of the things that keeps people coming back to this show is, even though it is a period piece, even though it's set in 1980 in Michigan, the themes, the relationships, the wants, the desires of the characters in the show, those are truly universal. It does not matter what era you are from. Every kid who goes to school worries about fitting in, being popular, coming across the way they see themselves in their head. And this show really took that those themes very seriously. They didn't. It wasn't about beautiful, attractive people who are great athletes and prom queens fitting in. It was about everyone else. And I think that that's why so many people across so many different generations are able to relate to it so well.
Yeah, it's awesome.
True.
You go.
I just said true.
Oh,
Well,
I was going to say universal themes, but Sam already got that. So, but yeah, no, you got the family life, you got the school life, you got every single sort of character you could kind of think of, like it's all in there. And so it's so relatable. It doesn't matter. Like Sam said, it doesn't matter if it's like in the 80s or 60s or now or whatever. It's all like everyone can relate to it. It's universal. So anyway, Natasha, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think the show almost retroactively created an appetite for itself. So,
Ooh, nice,
I think that this show paved the way for almost the way television is made today. There would be no Breaking Bad if not for shows like Freaks and Geeks. And I think that appetite was created. People love this kind of television that Freaks and Geeks was really kind of the first to do. Yeah. And so when that's exhausted currently, people are almost going back to rewatch what really sort of started it all. And it's just, everyone says it all the time. Freaks and Geeks was just made in a time that it didn't belong in, which is ironically very representative of what everyone was kind of going through in the show. It was all about being the misfit. Freaks and Geeks was the misfit show of its generation. And I think people kind of go back and really revere it. And it really changed the way we make television today, I think.
That's such a cool point to make because it was a misfit in reality, right? In terms of its being able to be on TV. I know that sounds like kind of crazy, but it struggled in terms from network standpoint to like find its spot or find its place, and it was competing against silly things like reality TV shows and such like that.
Who wants to be a millionaire? R.I.P. Regis Philbin.
Yeah.
Well, it was competing against the World Series, so it was competing against itself on NBC.
Yeah.
Because they screwed up the time slot so badly. Yeah. And I was actually doing a pilot right around then for NBC, and Garth Ancier at that point was the head of NBC. And I knew him from back in the day, at the early days of Fox, and he was always very open and candid with me. And I said, "What's the story?" He said, "Well, if we do an 8, this was the reboot of the show, I will continue the order," which was only for 3 or 4 more, and it did an 8 exactly, right? And so he was honorable in that respect. He went forward with it. But I hate to say it because I've been around for 1,200 years, but the list of shows that deserve better is unending, and on my resume too. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the amazing thing about Freaks and Geeks is that it still has a life. Nobody watches the Tracy Ullman show. In fact, you can't even find it except on YouTube anymore. I have a number of series like that all deserved a better fate. And I was really looking forward to us going forward because, as you may recall, I had been found out by Amy Aquino that, I'd been having a dalliance on the side. And Judd said, shit, because we really want to do, he wanted to explore the idea of a divorced father and the relationship with his son. Mr. Sam Levine here. I don't know about David so much. And I thought, well, that would have been great, but how many of those, if you're doing this for 5 to 10 years, you're going to have that many oh wells, right?
Yeah, sure. And like you said, this is just one that maybe it was due to the cancellation that it really stood out as that misfit show. You know what I mean? That everyone was like, this is so silly that it never went anything. And now again, it's still on lists. TV Guide's greatest shows of all time. EW's greatest shows of all time. And I think to Natasha's point, you made a great point. It set people recognize it for what it did for TV. You know what I mean? And how it really opened up that sitcom kind of thing.
And that's where HBO was smarter than the networks, because they said, we'll do 5 years of The Wire, even though nobody was seeing it. And yet everybody now has seen it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas before that, and then of course, like you said, they went forward with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, which of course, did a crap out. Rest in peace, Regis, But that also had to do with the changing dynamics of how things got made.
Television,
Because Deutsche Bank basically was, bankrolling most of the major studios. And when the Irish real estate market took a crap, they got clobbered. And so they said, well, let's go to the money-making shows like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, which, of course, turned out to be a tremendous defeat finally, And remember they canceled, they said there are no more sitcoms until the following year in which there were more sitcoms, like Everybody Loves Raymond,
Right.
Yeah, but, we're being run by the bean counters, and 'twas ever thus, It's very rare, maybe 40 years ago when people like Fred Silverman, not that I'm saying he's a genius or anything, but at least there was a veneer, or Peter Chernin, of a kind of artistic bent, so it wasn't all about what the numbers were. He said, no, I did a series for Peter at Fox called Likely Suspects, and he liked it. And so we were on the air. But had he not been there and then he moved over to movies, we lost him. We lost our rabbi, then that was the end of the show too. Anyway.
This is amazing. If you wrote
info.
Yeah, Sam McMurray, if you should write the history of TV, the history of television. And then voice record it. Oh man, I would listen to that every day.
Yeah, and thank you for pointing out, Sam.
Funny thing is, I'm sorry, go Sam. But
no, I was just going to say I didn't realize that the tontine that we had entered with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Now that Regis is gone, rest in peace. We win.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, so for whatever that's worth. Yeah, well, that's the idea, is to outlive all these other motherfuckers.
That's all right. Natasha set the bar. I think Natasha dropped the first F-bomb. So now we're good. Now we're good.
This play that I've been working on is actually something that I've put together for. Thank you.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you said it first. You said it first, Natasha.
But the interesting thing that Sam is talking about is sort of resounds to this play I've been working on, which is about the transition in like the late 40s from radio to live television, right? Which is fascinating. And that's why I'm actually working on this thing. And my parents in particular, my father did a lot of live television in the late 40s, early 50s. He, come back and after the war and started acting. And people like Sidney Lumet used him a great deal. And I actually tell this story. I stole it for the play. My father goes in to meet Lumet, to meet Henry Fonda, who was not only the star, but also the executive producer of 12 Angry Men, right? I'll be quick. And Lumet, who was something of a munchkin, says, Hank, I want you to meet Dick McMurray. He did Philco. He did Playhouse 90 with me, yada, yada. I think it'd be great for juror number 12, whatever. And Fonda's sitting in a chair, and he stands up and walks over and stands next to my father. Now, my father was 6'3", and Fonda was maybe 5'10" and a half. And he looks up at him, and he goes and he sits back down. End of story. But it's in the play. But awesome. It is. It's fascinating. And of course, television was all in New York in those days, Yeah. So they screwed the pooch with the unions and so forth. But yeah. So we'll talk later, Sammy. You'll tell me what to do next. By the way, I want to say I did an appearance with Sam on the Kevin Pollak show.
Oh, that's true. I got to interview you at length, and that, to my knowledge, it's still up on YouTube in our archives. Yes, if people want to watch me and the great Sam McMurray have a lengthy, in-depth chat about him. And
you were great, Sam. I thought I got rather boring after a while.
Oh, stop it. Thank you very much. You're very sweet. You're wonderful, because look, you have all these stories, and I personally love hearing them, and I know plenty of other people do as well. So check that out if you want to watch that.
Yeah, so cool.
Amazing, because I'm still 17 and everybody's passing me now age-wise, I saw Donald Logue the other day, and we had done a series up in Seattle the same year that ER and Chicago Mo premiered. And he was, he was a kid. And I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm going to get my pension early. I went, how old are you? He went, well, I'll be 55 next month. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Anyway.
Yeah.
Sam McMurray, I hate to cut the great Sam McMurray off and move on to the next fan question. It's such a cool stories, but you actually brought up something earlier while you were chatting, Sam, about plot points that you wanted to see, you wish you could have seen happen. And this actually, while you were saying this, a question came through, so I'd love to hear from the other three. From Prisoner 006, that's their handle, hopefully not their actual name. Prisoner 006 wants to know, what other plot points for your characters do you wish, or did you know that were going to be explored, or you wish happened? Let's start with the ladies. Natasha, was there something that you were kind of hoping to see happen if the story continued?
Yes.
Everything.
So Paul Feig had always talked about, we kind of saw later as the progression of Cindy's character, that she was very conservative politically, and she's kind of a super Republican. And so Paul had always talked about how funny it would be to see she and Sam running for student body against they're running for class president. So I thought that would have been, going from him being just adoring her to them being sort of a little bit of a nemesis relationship there. I thought that would have been really fun. And it was really interesting to get in the head of a person who is a super Republican and sort of explore that in the 80s. I thought it would have been really funny.
Oh my God.
Because you don't see that in TV a lot. You know what I mean? Like you don't.
Not since Family Ties.
It was such a weird, right? But I mean, it was such a weird, like she just seemed so normal. And then one day I read the script and I was like, oh, that's really funny. So I thought it would have been really funny to explore.
Yeah, that's awesome. And obviously referring to Sam, the character, not Sam the Levine or Sam the McMurray, but Sam, another Sam in the mix there. Sarah, you came in, became a super popular character. I know you were nominated for a bunch of awards for it and everything. Anything you would have liked to see Millie kind of happen with Millie?
Well, I would have liked to have seen her explore the freak side a little bit more.
Ooh. That's
for sure. I think that would have been really fun for season 2. Like it would have gone a little bit further. Also, I feel like one of the writers was saying like one of the things she wanted to explore was like one of the characters like getting her period, and like she was thinking that would be Millie, and like exploring the first time someone got their period. And so I don't that would have been interesting, I guess. But yeah, definitely the freak side. I was definitely a fan of that episode.
Awesome. Sam Levine, obviously we bring your brother in, David Krumholtz, that becomes a thing. There's which was super a fun addition towards like the latter part, you know what I mean?
That was great.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved all the scenes I got to shoot with Crummy. He was great. I loved the dynamic that he and I and Sam McMurray and Amy Aquino all had together. And in season 2, we would have seen quite a lot more of that because as Sam McMurray alluded to before, season 2 arc for Neal was going to be his parents splitting up, a really acrimonious divorce, and how that was going to affect Neal, and he was going to kind of rebel a little bit, and that would have been fun to sink my young actor teeth into. But they were going to have Neal join swing choir as like an outlet, and to this day I'm still. That's the thing. To this day, I'm still not even sure what that is.
Swing choir.
Is that still?
Yeah, that's. I don't know if that involves like singing and dancing.
Yeah, like.
It might be one of they do have the choirs that do choreographed movements at the same time.
So I believe that's what it was.
Hard.
Yeah.
It's not a choir that just sleeps with a different.
It's not a choir that sleeps with other choirs.
All right. Yes.
I want to say it's like show choir. So I think show choir is swing choir. I don't know. Maybe the fans watching.
Has anyone Googled swing choir?
I just did.
I've tried not to. I'm afraid to. You never know what 2 innocuous terms you're going to Google and it turns into something horrible.
See, the internet is scary, you guys.
It's very scary.
It's a scary place.
There's things that you accidentally see that you don't want to see.
And you can't
sounds like it could be one of them.
You all mentioned the writers, and again, obviously Paul Feig, show creator, but then shout out to all the brilliant. I think that really is what you mentioned. The show is about adolescence and high school. There's a lot of those shows out there, but what set this apart was the writing. You know what I mean, and the relation and where it took the characters and how the characters interacted, and it just felt so real and so awesome. So again, my question leading into it is just. How much, and you all mentioned kind of talking with the writers, how much did you bring to your characters early on as part of the process? Or were you really just coming in as actors and kind of getting the script and sort of running with it? I always love to hear sort of what the give and take was in the writing room.
Well, they did table reads of like, did they do table reads of every single, I think it was every single episode.
Most of them. It was most of them.
Yeah.
As we got towards the end and we were a little short on time, we didn't get to do
it. They would tape them.
Was to do them for all of them.
But I think like the writers would be there and everyone would be there watching, and I think they would like kind of see how we as actors would say these lines, but then also adjust it based on kind of us bringing in, I guess, our own take on the characters. So they really use those table reads to kind of make it fit for us, kind of.
Sarah, you have the best story about that.
You have to tell the story. I tell it all the time.
It's like
story about that.
It's been told all the time.
Would you like me to tell it quickly?
You can, sure.
All right, you seem embarrassed, so here it is. So I have often said young, precious 14-year-old Sarah Hagan was by far and away, in reality, the closest to the character she was playing because they wrote to her strengths. And so there is a line in the episode "Kim Kelly is my friend," where Millie says of Kim Kelly to Lindsay, I don't trust that Kim Kelly. She fornicates. And that's the line in the script. But adorable, precious 14-year-old Sarah Hagan didn't know what that word really meant. So when she said it at the table read, she said, "I don't like that Kim Kelly. She fornicates it."
It wasn't a complete sentence before, you guys. It needed the "it" at the end.
It needed the "it." We understand.
Okay.
So that was a writing error. You were just fixing it.
I was just helping out.
And so this is on video. They videotaped that table read, so you can watch this. The whole room dies laughing. The only person in the room who has no idea why everyone is laughing, Sarah Hagan. So I mean, it was so funny. It was so perfect. It was so real that it wound up, of course, being in the show. Right. Millie says to Lindsay, "I don't trust Kim Kelly. She fornicates it." and so that to answer your question, that's how the writers were using the actors to inform how they wrote the show.
That's so awesome. And that's what made it so genuine. And that's why it felt so genuine the entire time. You always felt like you were the characters, not actors playing characters, Oh, man. I want to give a shout out. We have a fan watching from India. Anime Chakras says, a big fan from India, stayed up until 2 a.m. in the night for this, or 2 a.m. in the morning.
That's amazing.
In our eyes, you are all our favorite stars. And then she goes on to say, there were so many stars on the show. It really launched the career of so many people. We don't need to list them. We all know who they are. But Anime Chakras, yourselves included, wants to know, who was your favorite, who's someone that sticks out to you as being a favorite cast member from the show that sticks out to you?
A favorite?
I know.
We're putting a really horrible question.
I mean,
not a horrible question. It's just I can't pick a favorite.
I'll take one.
Okay, fine.
I
Sam,
fell in love with Linda
maybe?
Cardellini. I thought she was just, out of sight. And in fact, I was just watching Dead to Me.
Dead to Me. Oh, she's
which
brilliant.
Is amazing because I knew Christine when she was 16 years old because we were all at Fox in the very early days, 86, 87, and so forth. And to watch the two of these consummate actresses just kick ass and give out haircuts is, just makes me grin from ear to ear.
Yeah.
And Linda is so good. She is so good that she doesn't get enough appropriate reaction. You know what I mean? She does not get the appreciation she deserves, because she's always so solid. But this thing, she's, quite amazing. And
she's just nominated for an Emmy.
Right. And
for her role,
they are going to come back for a third season post-pandemic, of course, But I just thought she was wonderful right from the get, and she was, Sam, right? She was considerably older than what she was playing, right?
She was
like 17, but she's really 25 or something.
Yeah, she was 25 playing 17.
She's 9 years older than me.
Yeah.
Oh,
she was 9 years older than me, and I had almost all my scenes with her, and she was amazing. Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen her since we had that reunion a few years ago with Van Nuys, which was interesting. all these millionaires, I was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
Like doing The Simpsons now, Anyway, that's
the freaks and geeks have separated now. Yes. Yeah, well, maybe not even favorite. I know favorite is tough. Oh, well, Sam's going to pick one. Maybe favorite memories.
I want to say, for me, so I have always been a huge fan of movies and television. So one of the hardest things for me as an actor is when I'm on set working with someone whose career and work I really admire, I have to walk this delicate line of playing it cool to not just like overwhelm them with, the Chris Farley show level, like, so you were on The Simpsons, that must have been cool, that kind of thing. So for me, getting to work with the great Sam McMurray, who I grew up loving. I mean, we've talked about this. I loved the Tracy Ullman Show. I loved you in Raising Arizona. I loved you in everything I've ever seen you in. So having Sam play my dad was such a coup for me. And then having the great Tom Wilson play Coach Fredericks.
Oh, yes.
I mean, so we got Biff. I mean, he's such an enormous, great body of work.
Yes.
And, No, go ahead.
No.
All right. But I'm going to stop. You talk.
Yeah, Zoom calls.
No, I'm just saying, Biff. So Tom Wilson got to play a coach. I was on a very short-lived television show called Do Over, and they didn't tell me who was going to be playing the coach. And I arrived at set one day, and it was like, oh my God, it's Tom Wilson, and he's the coach in this show too. It was the coolest thing ever. And I grew up watching Back to the Future, like on a loop from a VHS tape, and like he's the one that I just couldn't. Like, I still can't get over it that I was in a scene with Biff. It's like the coolest thing ever.
It was.
I think
very
finally
cool.
3 downs to Judd's credit. Quite honestly, I didn't audition. I had been doing a series, I think, and was free. And Judd just called, or had somebody call, or maybe Allison called and said they want you to do this. I was like, sure. I mean, not knowing anything, but I think that some of his choices are uncanny. Quite honestly, full marks for that.
It often gets, written up, Freaks and Geeks and Undeclared, and then obviously all of his work as one of the best casted shows. You know what I mean? Like the best bringing together,
That's credit to Allison Jones, who was the casting director on Freaks and Geeks, and I'm pretty sure Undeclared, and just about everything else he's done since. And, Freaks and Geeks was nominated for 3 Emmys over its 18 episodes, 2 for writing, 1 for casting, and Allison did in fact win the Emmy for best casting on Freaks and Geeks. I mean, feather in our caps, but much more to her credit. She has an eye that is second to none in the casting world.
Yeah, so awesome. Natasha, Sarah, I don't want to put you on the spot. I know if not favorite, but maybe just favorite memories. Is there a cast member that you had like the fondest memory with? It could be someone in the room or someone not.
I have to say, first of all, Mr. McMurray, we never got to meet on set. So for me, like, I was so excited all week for this. So this is so cool for me. I felt like I'm not cool around people. I don't know how to be like cool around people. But for me, I'm like so stoked to be here right now. But no, I loved working with Martin Starr. I loved working with John Daly. He was such a freaking goofball behind the camera, which was really fun. And then Sam and I were great friends outside of work. And it's mostly because he had a car and I didn't.
That's entirely true. She did not care for me, just the wheels.
No, but Sam and I were great friends. We used to go bowling and sushi and all kinds of fun stuff. So those are super fun memories.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sarah?
I mean, I don't know. I guess I have to pick Linda just because I worked with her the most. And she was just, there was this time on set when I couldn't for the life of me remember my lines. And that's like the worst thing as an actor to like have that experience. I don't know if any of you guys have had it before, but I had it. And it was like, I had a meltdown. Basically, I started to cry. I was really upset with myself. I was angry with myself. And Linda, she sat with me. She made me feel better. She was like, you know what? We'll get through this together. Like, we're here for you. The script supervisor was right there, like next to the camera. Like, she was just like, we're going to help you through this. It's going to be okay. So I don't know. Linda's awesome.
That's awesome. Shout out to fans Brooke Malone and Edward is Cool 93. They both asked similar questions about favorite episodes, favorite memories, favorite moments. So thank you for submitting that question. And y'all, we barely scratched the surface here. We had such amazing stories and we're already like way over time. This has been so lovely. I want to read something from 2 other fans just because it came through. and both are super sweet. It just shows you the fan love. I mentioned the countries that we're watching before. We also have Malta, Glasgow, Scotland in the house, people watching from Canada as well. And this comes from two parents out there, current parents. Valentine X Valentine says, this show was on when I was a kid and related to kids. And now as a parent, I see it from the parents' perspective as well. And having lived through the 80s, it's so realistic. It will never get old. Just a beautiful show. That's from Wendy. And then Prisoner 006 comes back and says, as a dad, I want to say thank you to the cast for the special show that I share now with my two daughters. Many laughs shared between us, and the show opened up good discussions about school life. The show served as my Trojan horse into my daughter's school lives. Thank you so much. Those are both live comments coming through. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, they show some of these episodes in schools, like as like to teach them about things. Like the pot episode, I think they showed at school.
Seriously?
Yeah, I've heard people tell me it's like what?
NBC didn't want to air that because there was
now they show it at school.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say, again, on behalf of all the fans watching, I'm sort of their conduit here to you all. We just want to say thank you for taking some time out of your day to just reflect back on the series. It's so cool that folks are going back and watching it again. I remember watching it young and then going back and watching it again just for this panel. But we thank you for taking some time out of your day. I'd love to go around the room and just any final words of wisdom or optimism, or just shout out to the fans. Also, let us know anything you got coming up that we can see you in. Shout out to you specifically, Sam. One more fan shout out from Floppy Jalopy RL. Just says we love seeing you at we love our favorite memory is seeing you at conventions. Sam Levine. So they're excited to have you back on the convention circuit. So let's go around the room and just hear some final thoughts from everybody. Natasha, if you want to kick things off.
Oh, just thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for keeping Freaks and Geeks alive. It's such a cool thing. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, stay sane, I guess. We can all do it. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Awesome. Thank you. Sarah?
Yeah, same. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. It was nice to be here and to talk a little bit about one of my favorite shows ever being on. So thank you guys to all the fans for just supporting us all these years and continuing to watch. And it's awesome. We love you and nice to talk to you. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Sam. Thanks Sam. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. Awesome. Thank you. Sam Levine, why don't you take it?
Sure. Of course, I want to thank everyone, especially thanks to Wizard World, by the way, and you, Mike, for helping make these great panels happen.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I love hearing that you're getting so much love from so many fans overseas. Yes. And, I started by saying one of the things that makes the show so memorable is that the themes are universal in terms of time. But I've been fortunate enough to travel around the world and meet fans from all over the world. And so I've also found that the themes are not only universal to American kids, but to kids growing up pretty much anywhere in the world. And that's a pretty impressive claim. So hats off to Judd Apatow, Paul Feig, our incredible writers room, all of our amazing directors, and most importantly, the fans worldwide for keeping this thing something that we're all somehow still talking about 21 years later. So thank you to everyone. It's been a real great joy getting to know that we have so many wonderful fans the world over. So thank you to all of them, and thanks to you, Mike. And
thanks, buddy.
Sam, I'll see you. I'll see you backstage. Okay, great.
Yeah, stick around, everybody. Stick around. We'll say bye in a sec. All right, thanks, Sam. Sam Levine and Sam McMurray. Why don't you take us home?
Oh, gee, okay, it's quite a responsibility. But I will say it's fascinating the contradiction of sorts between this time of self-isolating and so forth, and how necessary the need is to connect with one another, even if it's Zoom or maybe particularly if so. And the fact that, to quote Faulkner, the past isn't the past. In fact, it isn't even the past. I think I'm paraphrasing. But that is true. And it does mean a lot. And to, an actor, and I actually totaled up between my parents, my stepmother, and my daughter, I've been in show business for about 140 years, 240 years. And,
wow.
And it's remarkable. And quite honestly, I'm so grateful because I'm being made to feel germane, still relevant, and so on. And that's the nice thing about actors. You never really, age out. You just sort of move into the next category. And that show was particularly fun for me in all respects, not the least of which was the writers and the cast. So thank you. And I hope to see everybody later, one form or another. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, the great Sam McMurray, everybody. We have a fan in the comments saying, Sheriff Woody 777, I'm going to buy the DVD right now. Remember DVDs? Let's give one more big round of emojis to the amazing cast from Freaks and Geeks. Let's hear it one more time in the comments. Show me those thumbs up. Show me those hearts for Natasha Melnick, Sam McMurray, Samm Levine, and Sarah Hagan, everybody. Show them your love through digital form.
Hey, this is Alex Malari Jr., and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Your Emperor commands it. Thanks for watching.